Mario Kart World has one of my most requested features for a brand new Mario Kart game, and that is different costumes. I've made plenty of videos about this in the past because it just seems like a no-brainer. Let us choose different costumes for the people we're racing as, and now we can finally do just that. But I'm not satisfied. I want to see more. No, okay, in all seriousness, I am really glad they're including different costumes here, but there haven't been that many costumes that look really interesting. I mean, I'm glad they're here, but look at these three costumes for Mario. Yes, they're technically different, but they're functionally extremely similar. And I want to see some costumes in this game that are super unique and reference things from Mario's history. So in this video, I have 50 new costumes for a bunch of the characters that I want to see in Mario Kart World. Will all of these be in the game? No, definitely not. However, some of them I think will be in the game, and I'll point those out when we get there. But more importantly, we could definitely see costumes get added in later on as free updates to the game. If Super Mario Odyssey can get costumes as free updates, then Mario Kart World definitely can as well. I grouped all the costumes here by characters, and obviously we gotta start off with the main man Mario, with his first costume I want to see being Builder Mario from Mario Maker. Now this is one of the costumes I actually think could happen. Why is that? Well, most of the costumes we've seen are not one-off costumes, meaning other characters have very similar costumes, such as, for example, the all-terrain outfit, which we can see Mario and Luigi both have. Well, Wario here has a construction outfit, but to my knowledge, we haven't seen a construction outfit for Mario. I'm really hoping that's because it's actually a Mario Maker reference and they just want to save that cool stuff for the actual game, because it makes so much sense to have Builder Mario here. I mean, if we are going to have construction outfits, then including this literally writes itself. Come on, Nintendo, don't make me a liar. I want this to be in the game, and this is one of the rare costumes I think will be in the game as well. Next up, we have Tuxedo Mario. This is obviously a reference to Super Mario Odyssey, and maybe you could even find this costume up by Rainbow Road. We know you find different costumes at different locations or racetracks, and considering the wedding from Mario Odyssey took place on the moon, I feel like finding this costume up there would make a lot of sense. For number 3, we have Clown Mario. This outfit was also in Super Mario Odyssey, and there is one reason I want it in Mario Kart and one reason only. The memes here would be ridiculous. I am not the type of person who plays Mario in Mario Kart. However, if they included a clown costume, this would be the only thing I think I ever raced as. Imagine getting passed by a literal clown. I feel like this would make people rage. It would be hilarious, lead to a bunch of funny memes, and I hope it gets included. For number 4, we have Dr. Mario. This is pretty standard. Not really much to say here. It's Dr. Mario. I mean, I hope he's in there. This is like the most standard Mario costume you could get. Okay, the next couple of Mario costumes are actually costumes we've already seen in Mario Kart, but they weren't costumes. They were entire new characters. I'm talking Tanuki Mario, Metal Mario, and Gold Mario. Let's start with the first one, Tanuki Mario. This was its own character in Mario Kart 8, added into the Wii U version as DLC, and why? Why is this its own character? One of the main reasons I wanted Nintendo to add in costumes was so that the weird clone characters like this in Mario Kart 8 could still technically be in the game, but wouldn't take up a whole roster slot on the menu. That's obviously cooked. Costumes take up their own slot on the menu. Why is that? But regardless, Tanuki Mario is like the perfect example of, okay, this was a driver, but now it should be a costume. For number 6 and 7, Metal and Gold Mario, I understand that due to the weight distribution, these make more sense as their own characters. They're a lot heavier than normal Mario and therefore race differently as a result. However, I just don't care. These should be costumes, and hey, I mean, the costumes are taking up their own slots on the menu, so maybe they could have different weight classes and still be costumes. I don't really know. I just hope they're in there though. Metal Mario and Gold Mario are kind of iconic now in terms of Mario Kart, so I hope they get included. All right, we're getting to the end of the Mario costumes, and number 8, we have the King's outfit, Royal Mario from Mario Odyssey. The main reason I want this included is because it would be the perfect reward for 100%ing this game. We've gotten Gold Mario as that reward in the past, and that is fine, but I think switching it up to this King Royal Mario would be super cool. If you have to 100% this game to unlock this costume, and then you pull up online with this costume, I feel like that's just a good flex. Number 9, this one is never happening, but I just had to include it because it's such a cool costume in Mario Odyssey and such a neat reference. I'm talking about Mario 64 Mario. This polygonal guy, I just think it would be really neat to be able to race as him. In Mario Odyssey, it was obviously referencing Mario 64, but here it could reference Mario Kart 64, and while this will never happen, I just really like this type of reference. I think it's pretty neat, and it's kind of similar to the SNES 2D Mario that they added in Mario Kart Tour, so maybe it's possible, maybe? Okay, we're moving on from Mario though. Now let's talk about Luigi. The first one I want to talk about is Knight Luigi. This guy showed up in Mario Kart Tour and is by far my favorite Luigi costume from that game. I don't know what it is about Knight Luigi, I just think it's sick. To see this guy who's generally always pretty scared and terrified of, well, everything, in a dang suit of armor, I don't know why this costume gets me hyped up. I just think it's really cool. Number 11 is Ghost Busting Luigi. This would obviously be a reference to Luigi's Mansion. Now in Luigi's Mansion, Luigi just kind of has his normal Luigi attire, but with the poltergeist on the back. So obviously this costume would include the poltergeist, and maybe his actual outfit could have a way more muted, darker color palette to keep in line with the cartoonishly scary nature of Luigi's Mansion. Speaking of Luigi's Mansion, the 12th costume I'd like to see is Gooigi. Obviously hailing from Luigi's Mansion 3, Gooigi could kind of be like the Metal Mario Luigi version. Obviously he's not made of metal, he's made of goo, I think. What is that? Regardless though, it kind of fills the same void of like a solid color palette version of Luigi. Coming in after that, I want to see Penguin Luigi. In the new Super Mario Bros. Games, I feel like Luigi was pictured a lot with the penguin suit specifically. I like the design of him with that penguin suit, and I just like to see it. For number 14, this would be another really cool one. I don't know if they will do it, but in Luigi's Mansion 3, that game had a mode called Scare Scraper, which actually got its very own DLC, including different costumes for Luigi, the best of which was Groovigi. This disco-inspired outfit for Luigi would be super cool to see in Mario Kart. The last Luigi costume I want to talk about is Vacation Luigi. We've already seen the Mario Sunshine inspired Vacation Mario. Luigi got a vacation outfit in Tour, and I'd like to see this guy be able to just chill out a bit. So yeah, Vacation Luigi for my final Luigi costume. Before we move on to the next character, I want you guys to comment down below what costumes you'd like to see. Costumes open up a whole new world of possibilities for this game, so let me know what you'd like to see down below as well. While you're down there, if you're enjoying the video, check and see if you're subscribed. The vast majority of our viewers aren't, and it would mean a lot if you guys could help us reach our goal of 300,000 subscribers. Thanks, let's get back to it. Next, let's move on to Peach though. The first one I want to see is Pink Gold Peach. Do I actually want to see this in the game? I don't really care. It's Pink Gold Peach. I can take it or leave it. But I definitely don't want to see it as its own character. I'd rather see it as a costume. And the same thing goes for Peach's second costume being Peachette. Again, I don't really know what technically the difference between a new character and a new costume is because they take up the same spot on the menu. But if Peachette is in this game and is not technically an unlockable costume for Peach, I might crash out. Please let her be a costume and nothing else. For number 18, we have Wedding Peach. Same sort of thing as Tuxedo Mario. This would be cool if you could find it on Rainbow Road. And not only does it reference Mario Odyssey, but also the Super Mario Bros. Movie, in which Bowser's trying to marry Peach. Okay, I have 4 more costumes for Peach, and they're all from one game, that being Princess Peach Showtime. This game might have been a little disappointing. It kind of just came and went and didn't really make an impression, but thanks to Princess Peach Showtime, we can see a bunch of different costumes or outfits for Peach that gave her different abilities within that game. I picked out some of my favorites that I'd like to see in Mario Kart World, the first of which being Cowgirl Peach. The second is Mermaid Peach. The third is Dashing Thief Peach. I really like this one, but the coolest one in that game is by far Mighty Peach. I don't know what Gundam magic she got in order to I didn't play that game, so I don't know how this shows up. But I was looking online to see if there were any cool costumes from that game to include in this video, and I was kind of surprised at how interesting the costumes were, but specifically this one stood out to me because it's so unique. I don't think we've really ever seen something like this in Mario, definitely not for Peach, and it's actually pretty cool and shows that Peach can fight. I like it when they do anything with Peach beyond just, oh, she got kidnapped to go rescue her Mario, and this looks like Peach could, rescue herself. I mean, good lord. Alright, let's move on to Daisy. The first one I want to talk about is Chef Daisy. Rosalina and Peach have both had their chance. It's Daisy's turn now to cook something up. Next up, we have Daisy Yukata, followed up by Farmer Daisy. Number 26 in this video is Tennis Daisy, obviously referencing the Mario Tennis games. And then for number 27, we have Black Dress Daisy, one of her costumes from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm not gonna lie, I just like the way this one looks. Nothing more than that, so yeah. For number 28, we're moving on now to Rosalina. The first costume I'd like to see from Rosalina is Rosalina's Halloween outfit from Mario Kart Tour. I just think this witch aesthetic kind of fits her really well, and it's a pretty unique costume. We haven't really seen this type of thing in the game so far. For number 29, we have Cat Rosalina. Yeah, that's right. I'm including a Cat Rosalina costume, but not a Cat Peach costume, despite Cat Peach being an actual racer you can play as in Mario Kart 8. There is one reason for that. When I was playing through 3D World for the first time on the Wii U, when I got to Rosalina and then realized, oh, she can get the cat suit, you of course assume it's just going to be the color of her dress, but then it wasn't, and I said, oh, that's neat. That's higher praise than I've ever given Cat Peach, so let Rosalina have it this time. Now, before we get into the last costume for Rosalina, I need to shout out the Aurora costume that debuted in Mario Kart Tour, but seems to have made a return in Mario Kart World. I think this costume is absolutely sick and looks pretty good, but for number 30, I have Regal Rosalina, which takes the same idea of putting her in a nice dress, but turns it up to 11. This idea of Regal Rosalina as a costume is something I got inspired by looking at Rosalina's original concept art. I mean, this looks a little bit like Cinderella, but not only if they included this would it just be a cool costume that looks good, but it would also be a neat reference to Rosalina's origins. Anytime they do that sort of thing, like reference concept art or stuff like that, it just makes me smile, so I would hope they do that. Okay, next let's move on to DK Donkey Kong. I got 3 costumes for Donkey Kong, all of which I hope are in the game. The first one, though, is the one I by far hope is in the game the most, and that is a Donkey Kong Jr. costume. Now, I think it's pretty much confirmed DK Jr. is not in this game. I feel like they would have showed him in this shot in the trailer instead of Donkey Kong, given that they're referencing all the Super Mario Kart characters. However, that doesn't mean DK Jr. can't be referenced as a costume for Donkey Kong. Just giving him that white top with the Jr. logo on it would be a good enough reference in my book, and obviously, if you didn't already know this, Donkey Kong Jr. was in the original Super Mario Kart, so not only is it a nice reference to Donkey Kong Jr. himself, but also the origin of this entire series. Next, I want to see Silver Donkey Kong, basically this palette swap from Super Smash Bros. Why do I want to see this one specifically? Well, there is one reason why. Well, 2 reasons. First of all, I like how it looks, but second, and far more importantly, this costume references Eddie the Mean Old Yeti, who is a character in the hilarious and iconic Donkey Kong Country animated TV series. Everything about that TV series I've ever seen is straight up hilarious.
Come on, DK, doesn't this sound sweet? No.
I don't know how any of this got made, but it is too funny to be lost to obscurity, and Eddie the Mean Old Yeti getting referenced in Mario Kart, even if it's just a basic palette swap making Donkey Kong white and maybe adding that little sleeping cap, that's all I need. That would be too good to pass up. The third and final Donkey Kong outfit I have for this video is Donkey Kong Gladiator. I think this is the only Donkey Kong outfit in Mario Kart Tour, so there's that, but also it's just sick. You know that whole thing where it's like who would win 100 humans or 1 gorilla? If this was the gorilla, say goodbye to the humans, man. This guy looks like he's ready to go to war. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about 2 things, those being Funky Kong and Donkey Kong Bonanza. As for Funky Kong, this guy I'm racing as right now on Daisy Circuit, I want to see him in the game like straight up as a character. I feel like they can add him as an update even if he's not in the base game, so I want this as a character with like his own voice lines and everything. Whatever costumes are in Donkey Kong Bonanza, I definitely want to see added, but I think they'll probably add as a free update like closer to the game's release, or maybe later in the year if they're gonna push that game heavy during the holidays. Alright, next up we have the big bad himself, Bowser. If you know me at all, if you have watched this channel ever, you know I love Super Mario 3D World, so the first costume should not be a surprise. That is Meowser from that game. In the last level of that game, Bowser uses a cat bell and turns into Meowser, which is just Bowser in cat form. Yeah, they were really hamming up the cat things for that game. I'm fine with it though, because Meowser looks sick. This would be like the perfect costume for me. It's a cool reference, it looks cool on its own, and it's obviously a reference to Super Mario 3D World, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, I would really like to see this one. For number 35, we have Dry Bowser. Once again, Dry Bowser falls into the line of like, okay, this was technically its own racer, but do we really need that anymore? No, just make him a costume and everyone will be fine. Number 36, we have Fury Bowser from Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Not only does Fury Bowser just look sick, but this might be the most intimidating racer in the entire game if they add him in. Imagine looking behind you and you see this dude on your tail. It would be super neat. I mean, they'd have to scale him down to fit in a cart, but clearly realism is not what Nintendo is prioritizing when picking the characters for this game. I'm looking at you, sidestepper. He should totally be allowed to be added. For number 37, we have Tuxedo Bowser. Now, throughout this video, as I'm sure you can tell, I tried not to do any duplicate costumes between the characters. However, obviously, I already had Tuxedo Mario, so this is kind of the only real duplicate in this video, but I mean, come on, it's just straight drip. Also, like Peach's outfit, it would reference the Mario movie, so Nintendo would get that cross-brand synergy that they love so much. The last Bowser costume I have, I will not elaborate on, beyond the fact that it already exists. This is in Mario Kart Tour. I'm talking about Santa Bowser. Yeah, again, I'm not gonna elaborate on it. It's just funny. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Next up, we have Toad. Now, obviously, the first costume I thought of for Toad was Captain Toad. However, it looks like Captain Toad is kind of already in there. I mean, this isn't actually Captain Toad, but he's got the headlamp and the backpack, so I'll give it to him. That's Captain Toad-ish. So instead of Captain Toad, I'm going to say I want to see Party Toad, specifically from this render from Mario Party 4. I don't know why, I just think it would be funny. For number 40, I would like to see a Poplin costume for Toad. Now, this is kind of bordering on the line of like being a completely different character, but I think they could make it work. The Poplins are literally just the Toads of the Flower Kingdom. It would be neat to get a Super Mario Wonder reference in there. And like, I mean, come on, it's the same guy in a different font. I understand technically they're like a different species, I guess, but come on, I mean, that's gotta be allowed. For number 41, I have Toadsworth. Not really too much to say here. Toadsworth would be a great costume. For number 42, I have Propeller Toad. Kind of similar logic to Penguin Luigi here. I feel like on all the box arts for like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and all the like renders and stuff, Toad really got featured heavily with the propeller suit. So not only would it be a nice shout out reference to New Super Mario Bros., specifically New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but also it kind of makes sense in this game because there's a lot more verticality. Obviously, you can do charge jumps just to jump whenever you want. The feather item is included back into actual races. You now fly instead of glide. There seems to be a lot more verticality in this game, so the propeller suit kind of fits right in there. The last costume I want to talk about for Toad are the Pit Crew variants from Mario Kart Tour. There were a bunch of different colors for Pit Crew Toad in that game, so I would hope that they add the Pit Crew costume in, and then you can choose which color you want. Will that happen? I don't know, but I like the design. It looks pretty cool. All right, next we're moving on to Wario. Wario low-key has the coolest costumes in this game, at least from what we've seen so far. I mean, Pirate Wario looks sick. This guy looks like he has billions of dollars worth of oil money sitting in the bank, and I don't even know who came up with this, but it's funny, so I'll allow it. They even have this costume, which is kind of a reference to WarioWare. Because of that, I couldn't really think of many costumes for Wario. I just have one, Cowboy Wario. I think he looks cool. It kind of fits his vibe, but again, so far from what we've seen, Wario has like the best costumes in this game so far. Let's move on to Wario's counterpart, Waluigi. Again, Waluigi already has some pretty neat costumes here, but we gotta add a tennis version of Waluigi to reference his roots as a tennis prodigy. The only other Waluigi costume I could think of is kind of a stretch, but if you squint hard enough, it works, and that is Foreman Spike. Specifically, I'm talking about Foreman Spike from the Mario movie. I don't know why I think this would fit more with Waluigi than anyone else, but I think it would be cool to reference Foreman Spike, and for some reason, my gut is just telling me this is more of a Waluigi costume than like, I don't know, a Luigi costume. We're getting towards the end of this video. There are 4 costumes left, and each one is for a different character. The first one is for Yoshi, and I want to see a yarn Yoshi in this game, obviously referencing Yoshi's Woolly World, which is a great game, and I guess Yoshi's Crafted World too, which is not a great game, I will say. I'll leave it at that though, so all 2 people who enjoy that game don't come after me in the comments. Yeah, I think Yarn Yoshi is just a sick design, and we even got Yarn Yoshi as a costume for Yoshi in Smash Bros, so it actually seems somewhat feasible, which would be super neat. For the next costume, I want to talk about King Boo. We already have this sick Boo aristocrat outfit, but I just want to see a complete palette swap to the Luigi's Mansion version of King Boo. They actually did this in Mario Kart Tour, so it's definitely possible, and I just think this version of King Boo looks way cooler. He's like more menacing, and this would work great as a costume. For number 49, the second to last costume in this video, we're talking about Koopa Troopa. There is one costume I want to see, and it's one that I feel like it has to be in the game. That's because it is technically a reference, but it's a reference to this game. Specifically, we're going to be referencing the remake of Koopa Troopa Beach that is in this game, because that entire track now has this sick like party atmosphere with speakers and everything on the finish line, and this giant party Koopa Troopa on top of the rock in the middle. Just take this outfit you have already made for the game and let it be a costume for Koopa. I feel like that has to be what they're doing, right? If not, it's like the biggest missed opportunity of all time. Let me see Party Koopa Troopa in this game. Well, he's already in the game, but let me race as him, Nintendo. Come on now. All right, the last costume I want to talk about is for Pauline. And you'll realize that because of that, a lot of characters I did not have any costumes to add. I didn't add anything for Shy Guy, Lakitu, Birdo, Toadette, or Bowser Jr., mainly because, well, I just don't really know what they would get. I'm sure there was stuff, but everything else in this video, I kind of want to see more. But also, I didn't add any costumes for the baby characters who apparently do get costumes. A lot of the new characters in this game don't look like they have any costumes, like Cow or Dolphin, they don't have anything. But the dang baby characters get costumes. Why? Do you or a loved one actually race as the baby characters in these games? Please let me know down in the comments below. I've never seen anyone use these. So yeah, I don't really want to add costumes for him, sorry. For Pauline, her costume is a pretty simple one. I just want to see her mayor suit outfit from Mario Odyssey. Not only is this a great reference, but there's very limited stuff they could actually pull from for Pauline because she kind of just existed way at the start and then didn't for a while and then came back with Odyssey. But she was such an awesome part of Odyssey, and I think what made that so great was that she was the mayor of New Donk City. She wasn't just a random random side character or princess you had to save. She was the mayor of the main kingdom of that game. Seeing that mayoral outfit in Mario Kart would obviously be a great reference to Super Mario Odyssey and would just be really cool in its own right. With that out of the way, those are the 50 costumes I most want to see in Mario Kart World. Again, I'm really excited they're adding in different costumes to this game, but I want to see more that actually like reference Mario's past, or are just like more unique than different types of racing suits. Costumes open up a whole new window of possibilities, and I really want to see Nintendo capitalize on that. If you guys enjoyed this video, then hitting the like button and subscribing if you're not already is the best way to help out, and it seriously means a lot. Again, let me know down in the comments below what costumes you would like to see, and with that out of the way, I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Click the video on screen right now to see some crazy theories that not only I had, but you guys had as well in the community tab for Mario Kart World.